Take a look at this photo. What do you think the tankers were installing a bucket on the muzzle of Soviet tanks for? It was such a joke, or maybe the case was protected from dirt. Let's look into this issue. As you know, during the Second World War, the Wehrmacht had combat vehicles which had powerful armor, striking power, and an increased effective firing distance. This menagerie of tigers and panthers in the form of tanks of Nazi Germany brought many problems at the battlefield of the Soviet army. Not every Soviet tank could fight on equal terms with the steel monsters of the Wehrmacht. They were real armored monsters. Tiger weighed 57 tons, it was the most powerful tank of its time, and the Panther reached 44.8 tons. The most massive Soviet T-34 tank, 26 tons, was not so impressive. T-34 tank had many other advantages: speed, maneuverability, power, inclined armor plates, and of course, long-range and armor-piercing guns. T-34s were good for quick transport over rough terrain, suppressing enemy firing points and infantry. But to come together in close combat with heavy German tanks for the T-34 was very risky. Despite the fact that the T-34-85 tank was better than the T-34, it was extremely difficult to compete with the heavy tanks of the Wehrmacht. Of course, the Red Army had such heavy tanks as the IS-2, which the Germans were especially afraid of. The Soviet IS with a mass of 44 tons was the force that could withstand the heavy Tigers and Panthers. Fascist tankers were afraid of these tanks and avoided close combat. It is no coincidence that this Soviet tank was nicknamed the Panther Killer. But there were not many of them at the front. Therefore, the T-34 had to take the blow. However, as you know, if you do not have enough strength to defeat the enemy, you should use cunning and ingenuity. In war, a lot depends on effective intelligence, but both sides are always looking for a way to slip disinformation on the enemy. Real tank battle is very different from what most of us are used to seeing in the movies. It is not so colorful, and it almost always happens at a fairly large distance. By the way, on our channel, there is a documentary video of the exciting tank battle of the American pushing against the German Panther in the city of Cologne. Who is interested in the link you can find under the description? Well, we continue. At a great distance, the silhouettes of the T-34-85 and IS-2 did not differ much. The enemy observer could only be guaranteed to distinguish between the two vehicles by the presence of a muzzle brake. This was only on IS-2 tanks and was not for the T-34-85. The Russian people are extremely smart, and where the military industry did not cope, the soldiers' ingenuity came to the rescue. Hanging a bucket on the muzzle of a modified 34, they imitated the muzzle brake of a more powerful tank. It was equipped with a heavy tank IS-2 for firing more powerful projectiles. At a great distance, German scouts and observers mistook Soviet tanks for the IS-2. This kind of misinformation made it possible to seriously change the Nazi battle plan, get more advantages for T-34 on the battlefield. Taking into account the intelligence received, German commanders often had to make significant amendments to their plans or even decide to withdraw from their positions because of fears of incurring serious losses. Dear friends, write in the comments about what military tricks you have heard. I think the subscribers of the channel will be very interested to read it. And that's all for today. If you liked this video, don't forget to put like. It was Tim in the Eastern Front channel. Wish you peace and health. See you.